So what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time and go into the level 1 workbook. So we had a lot of people who signed up for the workbook this week. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to do a recap on exercise level 1, because exercise level 1 is actually just really important. It's like really that people kind of grasp it. And so I'm not doing the same thing as what I did last week, but I'm going to be doing it on the same topic. So we're going to be working on pages 6, 7, and 8 inside of your workbook. And so I'm going to start back from the beginning. This formula is really important to pay attention to, because this formula will support you as you're kind of going through your life, and just that you can kind of reflect back. If you can remember this, you can discover some things out about yourself. So to start off, if we'll just start with beliefs again, and belief is any thought or idea that we hold about ourselves or the world around us that we accept to be true. So beliefs they come in a number of different forms. So there's 6 different, they can show up kind of in different ways. So beliefs can be conscious or unconscious. They can be positive or negative, but they also can be supporting or limiting. And so it's really good to understand the difference between them. So today, I'm just going to talk about the difference between conscious and unconscious beliefs, because some people aren't aware that we do have unconscious beliefs. So it's the idea of like this iceberg. So the iceberg has, they say, will show about 10% of it, and 90% of it is underwater. So the same thing with your belief system. You have about 10% of your beliefs that you're aware of and that are like conscious to you, like that you can articulate. Some people can like articulate maybe about faith or what they believe in relationships and stuff like that. 90% of the beliefs that we hold are at the unconscious level. So they're like the ones that are below the surface. We don't necessarily see them. We don't know what they are. And what the problem is, or the challenge is actually, rather than problem, the challenge is that these beliefs play a role in the results that we get in our life. So until we uncover some of these beliefs and change them, we're going to get the same results over and over and over again, because it's this 90% of this unconscious beliefs that's the driving factor in a lot of our results. So the next part about this is our attitudes. So our results, again, just to recap, equals our beliefs and our attitudes. And so let's talk about attitudes. It's a feeling that is generally judged positive or negative based upon our beliefs. So whatever it is that you believe about something, is that then from that point is that we attach a positive or negative kind of feeling towards it. And so they can come, like I said, positive or negative. So let's dive into behaviors. The one thing that I learned about behaviors when doing this course is I actually thought that behaviors would be the things that I did, but it's also the things that we don't do. So it's what we do and do not do that dictated by our beliefs and our attitudes. And so when we go through this formula, I'm going to share just about a story or situation that I became aware of when I did this program. So I was walking around really for years with a belief that it was unconscious until I did this program, that men are going to hurt me. All men are going to hurt me is what the belief was. And so, of course, I didn't have a great attitude about succeeding in relationships with any men in my life. Like, I'm not even just talking primary relationships. I'm talking about any men, whether it is a family member, like a brother, a dad, like a husband, a boyfriend, all men. I just thought they were going to hurt me. So of course it would affect my attitude, and then definitely affected the behaviors that I had. So when I actually took this course and I stepped back and looked at the results of that belief led me to a dad, which I didn't talk to much at all at the time. I had an ex-boyfriend who is now I need to co-parent with, because at the time I was pregnant with our son. And then I also had, fast forward a couple of years, not at the exact same time, but fast forward a couple of years, I also met a man in my life who I would not allow to love me. Like, I just wouldn't allow him in, and that kind of would have been in the behavior part. So what they say is what you resist persists. And most of the biggest relationships that I had in my life at the time were men, and none of those relationships were working. So it was a big wake-up call for me, for sure. So what we know about this is that the beliefs themselves, or the beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, they're learned. They're all learned. They actually say that our belief system was established from the ages of 6 and 12. So I couldn't actually pinpoint exactly what it would be that I would say created that belief in me, but it was there. And I became aware of it inside of the level 1 process. And I continued to work through it while I was dealing with the 2, 3, and then even like personal development that I did afterwards. So awareness was really key, because then that created an opportunity for me to have choice as to what I was going to do with what I was going to do with the belief, right? So I knew it wasn't working and I needed to do something. So I decided that I wanted to relearn and do something else. So I had said before that, before I jump forward on that, is I just want to pop back to this workbook, because I actually really do want everyone to be able to create success with this workbook. And so this example, or this idea chart, everything is a part of exercise number 1. So the results part on page 8, if you kind of are having trouble doing this, because the challenge is that you're just reading 3 pages and then you're like, oh, well, it's the belief. When we do the level 1 process, is that we actually take you through 30 exercises in the course of a weekend that helps you discover those beliefs. And so if you find it hard to kind of discover the belief, my advice to you would be to work this system backwards. And so start with the results. Have a look at the results in your life, and results that you may not be exactly excited about or think that they're stellar results. Also look for themes inside of those results, because for me is that I definitely had a theme on my belief or my relationships with men. And so then I could have reverse engineered that and looked at my behaviors, my attitudes, and my beliefs. So if you're struggling with the start of this, is make a list of your results and then see where that gets you. All right. So I want to talk to you back about my experience with my belief system about men and my situation. So fast forward a year, and I have a baby boy. And one of the things that got clear to me is that with my current belief system, it was going to affect my relationship with not only him, his dad moving forward, any man I would have brought into his life, and his grandfather. And so I knew I needed to do something about it. So I was in this situation where my belief system was in this container, and it was in here. But what I wanted to do is expand the container to have a different experience. You can't expand the container without learning what is going on in the belief system, and then working on changing the beliefs to create different experiences. And so that's what I needed to do. And that's what I set off to do. So I just want to share, here are my results today with kind of the men in my life. So this is my son. Today, this is pictures a couple old. Today, he's 15 years old, and we have a great relationship. He lives at home with me. That man that loved me and I wouldn't let him love me, we're married today. And the other amazing thing is that my dad walked me down the aisle at the wedding. So I was able to repair with him, create something meaningful and lasting, and working with my now husband. And then, of course, it works. My relationship with my son is working really well, too. That wouldn't have been possible if I didn't work on this belief. And so then there's one more part to this, is that I actually wanted my son to have a great relationship with his dad, too. So this is the thing about personal development or working on yourself or becoming aware of your beliefs, is that you'll always get to some level, and then there's always room for expansion, right? Because we're human. And so my next step was about creating a great relationship between my ex and I, and healing what was really hurting with me, so my son could have a relationship with his dad and have a great relationship with his dad. Because really, I'm a step parent too. And I really believe there are people can, fill the shoes, but if there's some things that just it aren't the same when it's not your dad. So this is kind of one of the fun things that we did. Of course, this was probably in, I'm going to say 2014. And so one of the things we decided, like as co-parents, that we wanted to do is, just bring all of our kids to Disney World. And so this day right here, we're at Typhoon Lagoon, and this was one of 2 days out of the course of a week where we integrated both families. So we did a day at Epcot and we did a day at Typhoon Lagoon, where we just were everyone together to support really like our son, and let him be able to experience life with us without worried about what is he going to say, what's going to happen, someone's going to get mad, where we just coexist. So we did that. We also stayed at the same resort. His family stayed down one level, and our family obviously was up one level. And if our son just wanted to go have supper with his dad, he could just run down the stairs and go knock on their door and see them. There didn't have to be any fighting or whatever. We could just kind of really co-create and come together. So again, something that just wouldn't be possible for my son or any of his steps or half siblings if I didn't work on this belief. Like, I actually wouldn't have allowed myself to do it. I was in a spot where I was just shutting out all men because of the belief that I had. So I really do want everyone to be able to create success in what we're doing here, and really create success in your life, create success in the workbook, and creating awareness. So the workbook is definitely one way you can learn about your belief system, learn what's holding you back, definitely reverse engineer that if you need help. Another way is you can get yourself a seat in our level 1. So our level 1 happens on March 17th to 19th. And we're in that location that I talked about earlier on the page. So normally this seat actually would sell for $997, and it has in the past. And we actually put together this great launch offer for everyone who wants to sign up right now. The total value of this is $3,325. So everything that you get a seat in the level 1 that gets you diving into those 30 different exercises over the course of 3 days to learn about your belief system and kind of what's getting in the way. Also comes with a digital copy of Jay Fizette's book, Reframe Your Blame. And then that book actually is in a weekend seminar, which is called the Accountability Intensive Weekend. And so you get a seat for you and a seat for your buddy, all for $497, as well as another digital program on the 12 pillars that we have. So tremendous value. So for me is that in my life, I could not have afforded not to do this. This is something that I absolutely needed to do in order to be where I am right now in my life. And because I was willing to say yes to myself, everyone around me had improvement in their relationship with me and an improvement in their life. So I would just say, like, don't rip yourself off. Get yourself booked in this course. The registration link is in the comments. You guys can get yourself registered right